What's poppin', guys? Welcome to another Car Talk, episode 20. This Car Talk, I wanted to talk about something, I guess, personal to my personal life. And talk about something that I feel like a lot of young guys experience, or not experience, but maybe be dealing with. I don't know. But it's about virginity. So I am still personally I'm still a virgin at 19. Is what it is. I'm not I used to get clowned for it. Now I don't really care. And I'll talk about, everything bit by bit on why, because it was more of a choice, not so much I kind of just chose not to go into a relationship. I'll explain everything bit by bit. So I guess we'll start with the beginning step, or first part, I guess, which is my mentality going through high school, because I'm sure a lot of people's mentality, relationships was on their mind. It was very important to them. And to me, not really. Here's why. So during school in general, my mom is super, super overprotective. Very, very overprotective. Like to the point where even if, let's say for example, because I used to play soccer. Let's say I had a soccer game. The girls were cheering out my name. Like the cheerleaders or the girls' soccer team. They were cheering out my name. And my mom would flip out after when they would do that. Like she would come to me after the game's over and be like, "Who are those bitches that were calling your name?" I'm just like, "Dude, mom, the cheerleaders, like, fucking, I'll kill them." And she was being dead serious too. Like, she was absolutely insane when it came to protecting me. And so I was more scared. I didn't want to bring a girl home. I didn't want to get into a relationship. That was part one. Part two, the mentality that I had going through high school was very, I wanted to be in the financially stable, and two, I'll call it time stable, meaning like I have enough time. And because I do know that relationships in general take up a lot of time, like a lot of time. You need to set time aside and put it towards your relationship. And during high school and all that, I did not have the time. I was either, like, my schedule was going to school, then halfway through my school period, I would work at a factory, then go to practice or the gym if it wasn't sports season, and then after that, either go to work again at another job, or then I'll be home playing video games or doing homework, but I really didn't do homework. And I did not have the time. I just simply didn't. I was a very, very busy kid growing up. So I ended up I felt like I would be doing a disservice to my partner if I got into a relationship during high school. And then two is financially, because I've always been the mindset of I want to be the provider. Now, I don't really care. If my chick's rich, she's rich. But back then, I had a different mentality. I still want to be a provider, but if my chick's got money, she got money. I'm not complaining. I'm still gonna get my money. But I wanted to be financially stable. And during high school, I was not financially stable. So I didn't really get into a relationship. Also, I didn't want to deal with the whole stuff of we're there, because I'm not going to go to college, but let's say my partner went to college. Now we're doing long distance. It just makes it's just a messy situation. it would have became, and I saw what happened with my sister, because her and her high school sweetheart, they ended up breaking up because it was the end of end of high school. They're going off to college, so they split it. And then I saw how much she was hurting by it, so I didn't want to do that to myself. So I just decided just stay away from women, I guess. Like, I was cool with them, I'll talk, but I wouldn't try to romantically engage in anything. Now, fast forward to, we end high school. My mentality was still the same as far as, but it was more on the financial side. I wanted to have my finances, intact before I went into a relationship. Now, after high school, I was working a lot. But then during August time, I had a hernia, which I'm not going to get into what a hernia is. Like, long story short, basically, it was an intense surgery. Well, intense. It was like a 45-minute surgery, but the recovery process was like 3 months of no manual labor jobs, and that's all I knew at the time was manual labor. I didn't get into sales by then, so I was job hopping basically from graduating high school till probably halfway through to January. To January, I was job hopping from job to job to job to job. I would get a job, lose a job, get a job, lose a job. Well, I wasn't losing jobs. I more quit a job to go to a different job that paid a little more, like $1 more. So I was not in the right place. And then also, a lot was happening during the time. Like, my mom attempting suicide, which we'll get into that one. Another car talk, not gonna go into that. But dealing with that shit. And then I had another surgery on my nose. That took some time. And then my fucking tires were shot. Had to buy new tires, and then took another financial hit. And it was a whole hassle. It was a very stressful time. So getting a partner was not on my bucket list at that time. Now it is. On top of that, and this is going to be the part 2 onto how I view sex, how I view all that. I view it as a very emotional thing. Obviously, it's physical. I'm aware on that. I watch porn, but it's obviously, a physical thing. But it's also, I see it as a very emotional thing. It is when you and someone else are at their most vulnerable, most intimate, and I didn't want to do that with just some random chick that I don't really know about, and I just find her hot. That wasn't really, I didn't want to do that. I saw it as a waste of time doing that. And it was one of those, I don't know, I couldn't personally have a high body count. It just wasn't for me. Like, I never vibed with hookup culture. Never made any sense to me. I just don't see sex in that way. Just as a physical thing. I just see it as a very emotional thing, like I said earlier. Now, that's how I view sex. I guess, fast forward to today. How do I view it? I still view it the same way. As far as, I want to wait until I find someone, who I get into a relationship with. I can never have sex on the first date, that's for sure. I can never do that. It's gonna take a few dates, and we would have to first declare boyfriend, girlfriend before doing anything. That's just how I view things. Again, a lot of people disagree with me. Some people may agree with me. I believe me, I've been through this road before. I've gotten clowned for it before. I still don't care. It's my beliefs. I stand to what I believe in. So Now, I will say I've changed a little bit. So now is more of I'm willing to get into a relationship. You know, if I do click with a person and I do get a vibe, and we're both single, I'll ask you out. But I'm not gonna try. Like, I'm not gonna chase women. I've never been that type either. Never to chase a woman. So yeah, I don't want to do that. But I am willing to get into a relationship. As far as the finances go, I'm better off financially right now. Like, I'm in the best place so far that I've been at in my life. Shout out T-Mobile. And shout out sales. I hate sales personally, but I'm decent at it. And I've made the most that I've ever made. So I do have to thank it. But that being said, now I've looked at it as, well, if a woman is going to stick with me, right, when I'm not successful, if she's going to ride that wave until I become successful, then that chick tells me two things. One, she's my ride or die. That she actually loves me for me and not for money. So I will get into a relationship if it happens. And how now do I view being a virgin right now? I don't really care. It used to bother me growing up. Like when I was around like 17, 18. 18 was when it really bothered me. Now, I don't really care. When it happens, it happens. I feel like if you like shaming someone based on their sexual experience, is one, pretty shallow. And two, if a girl is doing it to you, or if a guy is doing it to you, you know, vice versa, then it's probably not someone, one, you want to date, or two, want to do your first time with. So I don't really care. I can't think of anything else. Kind of thought of everything. I mean, that's kind of the main message, really. If you, it just is what it is. I don't get too upset about it. You know, I stick to my beliefs. At the end of the day, I've seen, you know, chasing women and pussy destroy lives. When I say destroy lives, I'm talking about, you know, people who are very careless about it and very reckless about it, where then they get a kid. It's more when you get a kid too young, or worse, an STD. You know, I do definitely save myself that sort of hassle by being so picky and, you know, not engaging in hookup culture. I just feel it to be very stupid. I just don't see it as a very smart thing to engage in. Even like, I don't know, people with really high body counts. Like, I got friends who's already in the double digits, right? To me, that's crazy. Because when I say friends, they're like damn near the same age as I am, or maybe a few years older. And that's crazy to me. If you're already hitting double digits and you're this young, I don't see it as a flex. I don't see a high body count as a flex personally. I just don't. A lot of people do. I don't. Don't get me wrong. I definitely know that I suck at flirting. I definitely do. I also, that probably also has played a role on why, like, I guess now women don't really find me that attractive. At least if they do, they don't say shit. or they don't make any signs. I don't know. That, or I just can't, I'm fucking oblivious. But I know I don't really flirt. I don't try. Thought about it. I just kind of do me. You know what I mean? I try to be a fun, random guy. I like to do random shit. Like, I'll ask, like, one thing I do is, if I'm bored or something like that, I'll ask a random question. Noah could probably attest to it, because I do it all the time. Or I'll ask a pretty random question, or do something random. I'm just a random person, you know? And it probably turns some people off, you know? And I'm not some dominant macho man. I try to overall, though, be a pretty positive person. I don't let things like labels affect me that much. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do feel like it's very important to be comfortable in your skin, you know? Like, sure, I have this tag or this label over me, you know, I have this virgin label over me. But if you accept it, you know, it is what it is. I am, you know, and you stick to your beliefs. I don't think you shouldn't let it bother you. And if people are clowning you about it, or, you know, making you feel bad about it, then they're probably not people you should hang out with, to be frank with you. You know, because that's low, in my opinion. You know, that's kind of fucked up. Like, seriously? I don't know, that's just how I view it. But anywho, that's what this kind of special car talk is. Every 20 episodes, I try to talk about something that is pretty personal to me, or something that, you know, like, because I already talk about personal-ish stuff, but this one was pretty personal, that not a lot of people will reveal about or even talk about, which is kind of fucked up. There is a huge stigma around being a virgin, like, oh, you know, that guy's fucking lame or a loser. I feel like that stigma should change, you know, because especially if it's for religious reasons. Now, mine is not personal due to religious reasons. It's more of, I just want to pick the right person to do it with, because I see it as a very important thing. And I feel like if you just do it with everybody, or do it with any girl you just find attractive, it kind of loses its term. It's kind of like, you know, what I said last car talk, when I was talking about the meaning of a friend. And if you just call everyone your friend, well, then you lose the meaning of the word. It's kind of the same thing with sex, in my opinion, you know, or really with anything. Like, if you just fucking everybody, well, then sex itself is pretty meaningless to you. Then when you do get into a relationship with someone, it's kind of pointless. It's just meaningless. It takes the meaning out of it, I feel like, you know. So I try to be more selective about it, because I do see it as a special thing. I think that's about it for today. I got really nothing else to talk about. I think I hit all the points that I wanted to make. Hopefully I helped. If you are in my situation, oh, my car shut off on its own. I turned off the key, and it's getting dark out. So, you know what? That's the time. That's the time when I gotta head out. My car's telling me. So, but if you are in my boat, it's not the end of the world. Keep working on yourself. When it happens, it happens. Stick to your beliefs if you do have very strong, you know, feelings about it. And don't feel bad about it. Don't let other people clown you about it. You know, and if they do, who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, don't let it bother you. That's about it for today. See you guys.